Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about coding. Variables are a very important part of them, and we are talking about how to name them properly. And now you might say, what the fuck? I name my variables as I want to. I give them a name on the fly. But if you write bad variable names, you're writing bad code. So you're doing bad work as a coder, and that's not good. Today I'll show you 3 main mistakes in variable naming which you should avoid. Our first example of bad variable names is maybe one of the most famous equations in history. E equals mc squared. Yeah, you're a nerd, you know what it means. But let's assume that you have no idea about physics. So what you see is just a bunch of letters which mean nothing to you. So let me suggest how you could write this formula when you would be writing code. Energy equals mass times light speed squared. Yeah, you understand? It's about energy, it's about mass, it's about the speed of light. You just don't understand it 100%, but it's more than just letters for you. But you might argue, okay, this formula is much longer and it is not that iconic anymore. E equals mc squared is just very short and concise. That's right. But code doesn't have to be short and iconic. Code has to be easy to read, easy to understand, and you should immediately grasp the sense and the meaning of a variable. One language which excessively uses letters as variable names is Go. Let me show you one code example in Go. So let's have a look at this simple code example here. What is it actually doing? This code is simply printing HTTP headers to the console. Since HTTP headers are kind of a list inside a list, it's using a nested for loop. Now let's extract only one line of code and let's have a look at the variables. The variable names used here are W, R, N, H and I. Yeah, they're short. The code is short, but there's one problem. The problem occurs when we just have a look at the middle line of code. You just see W, R and I and you have no idea what these letters are standing for. So in order to resolve this, your eyes have to move through the code up and down and left and right and always go to the declaration of the variable to understand its meaning. Wouldn't it be much cooler if you could read code just like a book from top to the bottom without your eyes needing to jump up and down? So here's my first suggestion. Instead of using short letters, I use also very short names. Let's have a look at the code now. We have writer, request, name, header and value. When you have a look at the print command now, you can see that it's printing name value pairs to a writer, which is much more precise. Now you can argue that it's still a bit vague. I mean, what kind of name? What kind of value? What kind of writer are we dealing with? Somehow it should be clear that we are dealing with HTTP and headers. So let's make the variable names even a bit longer. By combining 2 short words using camel case, you make the sense, the content of the variable even clearer. Even when we use long variable names, you can see that the code is somehow, I would say, okayish. And when you look at the print command now, you can see it's totally clear what it's doing. It's printing a header name and a header value to an HTTP writer. Perfect. Now let's have a look at some other typical problems in variable naming. So first of all, variable names should not be too long. So an HTTP response writer might be very precise, but it's of course very long. The other problem we need to talk about is case inconsistency. As you know, there are a lot of different programming languages on the market and each one has its own casing. So what you have to do is to read the recommendations, to read the coding guideline and understand which one is the right casing. And if you are working on code which has already been written for you and you just have to enhance it, you should stick to the casing which was used before, just in order to keep consistency. And my last advice for today is that you should avoid abbreviations. So let's take a look at this res writer. What is res? Res could be a resource, a response, a rescue. You just don't know what it means, so just avoid abbreviations. So what is your opinion about variable names? Please write in the comments. Michael, I don't give a fuck about variable names. I just type them as I want to, because I'm a programmer and I can do whatever they want and they will not fire me. Yeah, fuck you.